Jaguar just sold 6 cars, not 6,000, 6, across the entire UK. For one of Britain's most iconic car brands, that's almost impossible to believe. Welcome to Cars Review. Today we're breaking down how Jaguar went from selling hundreds of cars every month to almost disappearing from its home market. In January 2026, Jaguar registered only 6 new vehicles in Britain. 1 year earlier, in January 2025, that number was 783. That's a drop of more than 99%. But unlike most sales slumps, this wasn't simply a story of weak demand. Jaguar had intentionally withdrawn its existing lineup from UK sale as part of a planned transition toward an all-new electric range. With almost no new inventory left on dealer lots, a steep decline was always going to follow. That transition began back in November 2024. Jaguar pulled its current models, the F-Pace, the E-Pace, the I-Pace, the F-Type, the XF, from British showrooms one by one. Parent company JLR called it a reset, period, designed to clear the way for a completely new generation of vehicles built on a fresh platform. For over a year, British buyers who wanted a brand new Jaguar simply couldn't get one. The only option was a shrinking supply of pre-owned models. Then came the reveal that defined this whole story. Jaguar didn't relaunch with a car, it relaunched with a rebrand. A new logo, a new slogan, and a concept vehicle called the Type 00 that looked nothing like any Jaguar before it. The response was deeply divided. Some praised the brand for taking a bold new direction and stepping away from a stagnant image. Others, including many longtime fans, argued Jaguar had walked away from the identity that made it recognizable in the first place. The leaping cat, the racing heritage, decades of British sports car history. Now, to be clear, the dramatic sales collapse was primarily the result of Jaguar's planned product transition, not the rebrand itself. But the controversy around that rebrand added even more uncertainty to a brand that was already absent from its own home market. It raised a bigger question. Is the public actually going to want what Jaguar builds next? Because this isn't just another luxury sedan launch. Jaguar is betting the entire future of the company on a completely different strategy, moving upmarket, going fully electric, and asking customers to forget almost everything they knew about the brand. If that bet doesn't pay off, there may not be another reset to fall back on. So what exactly is Jaguar planning to bring back to showrooms? Can its all-electric reinvention revive one of Britain's most iconic brands? Or is this the beginning of the end? Let's find out. That brings us to the real story. Jaguar didn't disappear from the market by accident. It walked away from the market it had competed in for decades. For decades, Jaguar competed alongside BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi, sporty sedans, mid-size SUVs, cars built for buyers who wanted luxury without going full ultra-premium. That strategy worked for a while, but Jaguar was never the volume leader in that fight. Strong German competition, an aging model lineup, and inconsistent product launches made it increasingly difficult for Jaguar to maintain market share. And sales had been sliding for years, even before the 2024 shutdown. So instead of trying to out BMW, Jaguar's parent company JLR decided to abandon that segment entirely. JLR has made it clear that Jaguar will become a lower volume, higher margin luxury brand rather than chasing mainstream premium sales. The new plan moves Jaguar upmarket into the territory of brands like Bentley and Aston Martin. Fewer cars, higher prices, and a smaller, more exclusive customer base. The first real look at that new direction came with the Type 00 concept. It's a low, wide, dramatically styled electric grand tourer. Nothing like the F-Pace or F-Type that longtime buyers were used to. For some, it looked like the future. For others, it barely looked like a Jaguar at all. JLR has said this concept previews a fully electric 4-seat GT car, expected to carry a price tag well into 6 figures. Industry reports have pointed to a luxury SUV arriving after the GT, followed by a large electric luxury saloon. All 3 vehicles are expected to sit on a brand new platform called GA, built specifically for this next generation of Jaguar. Developing an entirely new platform from scratch is one of the biggest commitments an automaker can make, and it shows. JLR isn't trying to refresh Jaguar, it's trying to reinvent it. But here's the tension at the center of this story. The challenge is that luxury buyers are among the most loyal customers in the industry. Convincing someone to leave Bentley, Aston Martin, or even Rolls-Royce is far more difficult than simply launching an expensive new car, no matter how good that car turns out to be. At the same time, Jaguar risks losing the customers who actually stuck with the brand through its previous era. Someone who wanted an F-Pace isn't necessarily in the market for a six-figure electric GT, so JLR isn't just trying to attract new buyers, and it's trying to do that while potentially alienating the ones it already had. The strategy sounds ambitious on paper, but history is full of famous car brands that tried to reinvent themselves and failed. So can Jaguar succeed where others couldn't? Or has this gamble already gone too far? If Jaguar's plan sounds ambitious, history suggests it won't be easy. Reinventing a heritage brand is one of the hardest moves in the auto industry, and the track record isn't encouraging. Several manufacturers have attempted major brand repositioning, and the results have been mixed. The risk isn't just building a good car, it's convincing an entire market to see the brand differently than it has for generations. For Jaguar, that risk is even bigger because of what's happening outside the UK. In the United States, one of Jaguar's most important global markets, sales have been declining for years. Even before the UK sales freeze began, an aging lineup and limited product updates made it increasingly difficult for Jaguar to compete in one of the world's most competitive luxury markets. Jaguar's share of the American market has fallen to a small fraction of a percent, well behind rivals like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. That matters a lot here, because American buyers are exactly the kind of customer JLR needs to win over if this upmarket strategy is going to work. The US has one of the largest luxury car markets in the world, and it's full of buyers who already have strong loyalty to brands like Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Bentley, and Aston Martin. There's also the financial pressure sitting behind all of this. Jaguar is owned by Tata Motors, and this reinvention isn't a side project. It's a major investment tied to the future of the entire Jaguar brand, building a new platform, developing new electric vehicles, and repositioning decades of brand identity all costs enormous amounts of money. If the new lineup doesn't connect with buyers, that investment doesn't just underperform, it raises important questions about Jaguar's long-term future as a distinct luxury brand. That's part of why this 6-car number matters so much. Even though it comes from a single month in a single country, it's not really about that one number. It's about what it represents, a full calendar year where Jaguar had almost nothing new to sell, while its competitors kept releasing new models, signing new customers, and reinforcing their position in the luxury market. Every month Jaguar spent in this transition was a month rivals didn't have to fight for those same buyers. And there's another factor working against Jaguar. Timing. The shift toward electric vehicles has been slower and rockier than many automakers expected. Consumer demand has grown more slowly than many automakers expected in several major markets, and some luxury brands have scaled back their EV plans. As a result, Jaguar is doing the opposite, going all in on EVs at exactly the moment when that demand has softened. That's a bold bet, but it's also a risky one. So Jaguar isn't just trying to launch new cars. It's trying to survive an identity overhaul, a technology bet, and a pricing jump, all at the same time. Jaguar has already made its bet. The only question left is whether buyers will make the same one when these cars finally reach showrooms. After all of this, the obvious question is, where does Jaguar go from here? The brand that once symbolized British motoring is currently sitting in an unusual position. Its showrooms have very little new inventory, its identity has been completely rebuilt, and its future now depends almost entirely on cars that haven't yet reached customers. There are reasons for optimism, though. The Type 00 concept, whatever people think of its styling, offered the clearest indication yet that Jaguar intends to move in a completely new direction, not just a redesigned version of its old lineup, but a real departure. A new platform, new technology, and a completely different price bracket mean Jaguar isn't just tweaking its old formula, it's starting over. Whether that fresh start succeeds now depends less on the vision and more on the execution. There are also real reasons for caution. Luxury buyers don't switch brands easily. The GT, the SUV, and the saloon all have to arrive on time, perform as promised, and justify price tags that will sit well above what Jaguar has ever charged before. Any delay, any misstep in quality, or any mismatch between what Jaguar promises and what it delivers could deepen the skepticism that's already surrounding the brand. And Jaguar won't get many chances to get this right. A gamble this size usually only gets one real shot. What makes this story so fascinating isn't just what happens to Jaguar. It's what this experiment could tell us about the future of heritage car brands in the electric era. Plenty of companies have talked about bold reinventions. Few have actually walked away from their entire existing business the way Jaguar did to make it happen. For now, the 6-car number stands as a symbol of that transition, the moment right before the bet either pays off or doesn't. Over the next year, as the Type 00-based GT, the new SUV, and the electric saloon actually reach dealers, we'll find out whether luxury buyers in Britain, the United States, and beyond are ready to see Jaguar as a true rival to Bentley and Aston Martin, or whether the brand waited too long and changed too much to bring its audience along. Either way, this is one of the most dramatic repositioning attempts the auto industry has seen in years, and the next 12 to 18 months could prove to be the most important period in Jaguar's modern history. And that's how one of Britain's most iconic car brands ended up selling just 6 cars in an entire month, and why the next chapter may be the most important in Jaguar's history. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure you're subscribed to Cars Review, because we'll be tracking every new Jaguar reveal as it happens. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.